Without good morals, a country collapses. Without good morals, you collapse, right? So there's this idea that there are these principles, there are these actions we take that are good, and there's those that we take that are bad. If you end up stealing, cheating from friends all the time, they're probably not going to be your friends anymore. And if you do something really egregious, people are probably going to lock you up. Now, what happens, let's say, if everyone collectively just starts cutting corners, doing things negative, all these things, etc.? Well, you end up in a bad place. Maybe you bring hell to earth. Maybe you let something onto this, planet that starts wrecking havoc, that type of stuff. But look, last 100 years, maybe a little longer, we've been stripping away a lot of our morals in the whole world, right? And, that has a lot to do with religion has been dying out. A lot of people don't believe in it anymore because of, well, a lot of things science does. And, there's people who are atheists, they remain pretty moral and they do good things. The point isn't the religion, the point is the practices that we all apply to, right? The point is that, hey, are you a person who treats others well? Are you a person who, does good things, etc., right? Yeah, I think we all get this. But here's the thing. Most people, they need somebody to tell them what's good and what's bad. A lot of people. Because, they're trying to look out for themselves. They're kind of in this lower state of consciousness where everything they think about is themselves and they can't think about other people. And maybe it's because they ended up being traumatized as a kid, or they're not that bright. And right now, on this channel, I've been talking a lot about, some maybe a little bit higher, maybe theological, philosophical, metaphysical concepts. And I'm wading into the water, seeing, who out there is thinking about these bigger picture things. But there's a lot of just basic stuff that needs to be spread around to the masses of people. And that you need to understand, there used to be these systems that kept us in check. I think they call it, I heard it the other day, someone called it a Chesterton fence. What's a Chesterton fence? Well, it's when you have an old fence on a property and it's been there for 200 years and you bought the property, there's a bunch of weeds around it, and you finally notice, you're like, why is this thing here? Well, you end up taking down the fence because you're like, this is dumb. This thing doesn't need to be here. It looks ugly. And then the next time a rainstorm comes or whatever, there's a flood, or all of a sudden a bunch of coyotes come onto the property and they end up wreaking havoc. Bad things happen. You didn't know why it was there, but it had a purpose and it's been there for a long time serving one. This is a lot of the things that we have here in, the Western culture that no longer exist. A big one, marriage. That one is gone. It doesn't exist in the way it was originally intended. Another is small communities don't exist anymore. Everyone lives in metropolitan giant mega cities, cities that may have never even existed in all of human history before. And you don't have any people that you really know and get to grow a relationship with. They say the average deep relationship, right, takes 10 years to form in order to have a completely subconscious just alignment with another person, that you completely get them, that you trust them. Most people are not sticking around places for 10 years to be able to gain that type of friendship with a lot of people. The average person moves a house every 5 to 7 years into a new one. So we got a lot of collective things going on that just don't work in our new modern systems. And these moral systems that used to exist don't anymore, and it's going to cause a lot of havoc. And it's been unwinding slowly. There's still very small towns every here and there where they still kind of stick to more conservative, practical things. Now look, if we could find out a way to integrate those old systems into new systems, or kind of come up with a new type of thing, that'd be great. But as it stands, we're looking pretty screwed. And, maybe you've noticed this stuff. Maybe you've realized this type of thing is going on. But hey, we got to start something. We got to talk. We got to at least come up with some ideas and maybe think about ways to get people to understand these things. And, there might be some technologies that come up that could help. But until they really start getting any traction, they say an average technology adoption for the masses takes at least 15 years in order for the general public to take it on. We got a ways. A ways to go. So, hey, I think that maybe if we could just lay some ground rules and get some basic ideas, we could maybe at least slow things down. But hey, do you have any thoughts? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.